Bouvet Island. It is a cold, ice-capped island located in the South Atlantic Ocean. The island is considered to be the most isolated island on Earth, as it is well beyond 1,000 miles away from the nearest populated piece of land. It was discovered in 1973 by French explorer Jean-Baptiste Charles Bouvet. However, the island was considered lost for a long period of time actually, due to its recorded position being inaccurate. In the modern day, Norway owns the island and basically nobody really visits it besides small scientific teams who go there in order to study things like climate change and the animals that reside there, including seals and seagulls. With all of that, this island has a pretty strange history. In 1964, a South African expedition team went to the island and discovered an abandoned lifeboat that still had supplies in it. There was no bodies or anything of the sort found near it. It raised many questions considering how awfully difficult it is to even reach the island. This brought many conspiracy theories and led people to believe someone was exploring the island and died there, only leaving behind the boat. However, a more plausible explanation is that the boat was actually a Soviet whale catcher vessel named Slava 9, which was actually recorded to have visited Bouvet Island with a group of sailors, and the theory goes is that the group of sailors had to evacuate via the two lifeboats on Slava 9 due to the harsh weather conditions. Blood Falls. Located in Antarctica, it fits the name because it looks like a bloody waterfall. It's specifically under the face of the Taylor Glacier, so it comes off as if this glacier is truly bleeding or on its period. It's one of the strangest places on Earth due to its uniqueness and graphic look. You don't really see anything like this anywhere else. It was first discovered in 1911 by an Australian geologist named Thomas Griffith Taylor during his expedition through Antarctica's McMurdo Dry valleys. At the time, many scientists thought the redness was a bunch of algae. However, they were wrong. Around 100 years later, the truth was found. As it turns out, beneath the glacier is an entire lake of highly salty water, which has been trapped there for millions of years. Due to how salty it is, the water managed to remain liquid despite Antarctica's very cold temperatures. For the water itself, it contains a lot of dissolved iron, so when that iron-rich water reaches the surface of the glacier through the tiny cracks, it comes in contact with oxygen for the first time in millions of years, and essentially it oxidizes into liquid rust once escaping. Thus, it creates that red bloody-like color. A little bonus is that underneath this glacier, there's actually life, albeit a bunch of macroscopic organisms. However, they actually did manage to survive and live in such harsh conditions. This has made scientists pursue more research into this area because there lies more behind the blood. Overtoun Bridge is a Victorian-era bridge located near the village of Milton in Scotland. The bridge was completed in 1985 in a Victorian Gothic architecture style. It is made of stone and it crosses over a deep ravine 50 feet below. This bridge looks like a normal old Gothic bridge you would probably see in that region, however it is far from normal. In 1994, a 32-year-old man named Kevin Moy threw his newborn baby off the bridge, claiming his son was the Antichrist, due to an extreme psychotic episode. Not long after, a jury found him not guilty for reason of insanity, and he was thus ordered to be detained at the nearby state hospital indefinitely. So it's safe to say this bridge already has a dark past, however it has an even darker reputation. This bridge is actually known for being the site where many dogs have jumped off to their death. It is known as the Suicide Dog Bridge. Ever since the 1950s, many reports emerged of dogs leaping off the bridge onto their deaths out of seemingly nowhere, just completely unexpected. A lot of them have survived the fall, however, suffering fatal injuries. Even stranger though is the amount of dogs that survived and reportedly tried to return to the bridge and jump off again. Estimates from multiple sources range the dog death toll to be around the low 100s to the high 100s. With this phenomenon, it is expected for the locals to create rumors and mythos surrounding the phenomenon. Many believe it's a supernatural force the bridge carries, like a negative aura, that's causing the phenomenon. As time passed on, researchers wanted answers. So, in 2006, a man named David Sands, who was an expert in animal behavior, discovered that there was an abundance of minks that wallowed in the area under the bridge. Minks have a very strong smell. It is confirmed that dogs have an easier time picking up the smell of minks as opposed to other small animals like squirrels. These smells heavily attract the dog breeds with long noses, which was a pattern discovered in the dog deaths, as most of the deaths were of long-nosed dog breeds. So, because the smell is heavily abundant on this bridge, it unfortunately made the dogs excited enough to jump off the bridge to locate the smell of the minks. The bridge also has high stone walls which block the dog's view of the drop below, so the dogs that do jump don't know that there is a drop off at all. Today, there are warning signs in place that advise people to walk their dogs on a leash while crossing the bridge. Nowadays, there are less deaths of dogs as opposed to the numbers back then, so at least now the number is dropping down. Volcanic extincto. The image you're seeing right now is the only known image of this volcano. The name itself doesn't really help either because it just means extinct volcano. This is a massive, inactive volcano located in Coahuila, Mexico. It's located near the Mexican-US border, yet it's still pretty remote. The volcano is surrounded by a large complex of canyons, giving this area just a unique geographical look. Yet somehow, it only has one photo of it ever taken. It doesn't really have a real name for itself, and when you actually try to look this up on the internet, you barely get anything at all. A YouTuber named thePOVchannel actually did mention this volcano in one of his videos where he explains the geological feature more in depth. He shows the location on Google Maps and notes how there is literally no roads or infrastructure or anything near this area for miles upon miles. There is nobody here. For a place that's as unique as this and it being 3 kilometers wide and having almost no information regarding its existence, is just crazy. The Manpupuner rock formations, usually referred to as the 7 Giants of Russia, is located in one of the most remote regions of Russia, the Ural Mountains. Basically, it is 7 giant stone pillars overlooking the nearby surrounding landscape. These stone pillars can rise up to upwards of 140 feet tall. The local indigenous Mansi people tell of legends regarding these stones. They say that these stones were once giants, eventually cursed to become the stone pillars forever. And for the general population, it is unknown of how these formed. In fact, this location is considered one of the 7 wonders of Russia. So how do these form? Well, obviously these are naturally formed, and scientists came up with an explanation for the formation, which is as follows. Around 200 million years ago, these pillars were a part of a much larger mountain. Across the span of 1 million years, wind, rain, snow, and ice managed to slowly erode the softer surrounding rock, while the harder stone resisted the changes, leaving behind the tall giant kidney stones that we have now. Some people believe in their own explanations, however, such as some believing that they are ancient volcanic cores. All in all though, these are natural, and they are still quite mysterious and hold some type of aura around them.